Do you want your next trip to Marquette to look like this? Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover on this episode of Go Here, Do This. As per usual, I'm going to pair a beverage with the subject matter. And in this case, I'm pairing Tangelo Dream from Ludington Bay Brewing with this trip to Marquette. And it makes sense to me because the base of this beer is Lake Phantom American Pale Ale with a little bit of a Tangelo twist. And that's exactly what I feel like this trip is like. It's all about the lake with our own twist that we put on it while we're there. This is what 48 hours in Marquette looks like for an outdoor enthusiast like me. If the outdoors are your thing, you will definitely get some ideas from this video, but it's not going to cover every single thing you can do. First up is a paddle around the lighthouse into Lower Harbor. We put in at McCarty Cove. Personally, I enjoy launching here because it jumps us right into Marquette's beauty with the massive rock formations that meander up to the lighthouse. Fortunately, on this day, Superior allowed us safe travel around the breakwall. The Superior side can get wild, and it might make more sense to put in inside of the harbor because the next spot is somewhere that's iconic that you probably haven't paddled yet.
I think the first time I ever saw paddleboarding was Matthew McConaughey in Malibu. Not in person, it was on TV. It might have been on Oprah.
The paddle to the ore dock is special. Although it isn't used for shipping anymore, the remnants of the Great Lakes shipping days past are still very much alive. Look at the sun is just like peeking out. Andy is looking all silhouette-y and epic. These rocks, they're all super huge. This is pretty cool. Even on warm days, coffee after a paddle just feels right.
Needed this coffee to get the day started.
I can't tell you what coffee shop to go to because there's so many great options in this area. Velodrome is amazing for a craft coffee. Contrast is an excellent option for a sit-down coffee. Baby Cakes and 231 West both have bakery vibes, so really it's your choice. And that's not even all the options, so just kind of like look around and you'll find a good cup of coffee somewhere. Presque Isle is a staple in the community for locals and for tourists. It doesn't matter if you have 15 minutes or half a day, it's the perfect spot to get out and explore. And yes, for everybody that's in Alpena, this is called Presque Isle. Yours is called Presque Isle. Spelled the same, pronounced different, and that's okay. The paddle around Presque Isle is stunning and offers three very different vibes. The best paddle for this day was going counterclockwise. Make sure to paddle to play the wind to keep it at your back, but for us, the cliffs on the east side of the park stretch for just under a mile. These incredible rock faces are best viewed from the water side. The cliffs themselves rival any scenic shoreline in the state, but like a sample size. If pictured rocks is a cake, this is a cupcake. As we continue counterclockwise, we round the point where it's super easy to spot black rocks. This is the place where everybody jumps off the rocks into Superior, and every single time I'm here, a first timer asks me, "Is it cold?" Yes, it's cold. Proceed with caution, stay within your own limits, and check your pockets before every single jump. It's way too easy to lose valuables when you hit Lake Superior. The northern point of this paddle is where we glide in and out of some of the rocks and we really take our time. The shift from the steep cliffs to big old boulders is an opportunity to find a spot hidden from the wind where you can just sit and relax.
That looks like elephant skin. Like all the wrinkles and stuff on the side of an elephant, that's what it looks like.
The paddle ends in Middle Bay on the west side of Presque Isle. Now, if I'm being honest, I have never called it Middle Bay in my life. I've always known it as the zoo. On today's paddle, it was so calm that we decided to poorly stretch and do some yoga. But don't be fooled by this peaceful looking bay. If a storm picks up, this is where you will find some of Marquette's local surfers. But not today, we're doing yoga. The best part about this paddle is when we take out our boards, we're just a few hundred yards from our car. So that's almost 2 miles of exploring and paddling and just a short walk back to our vehicle. Now this is cool. As we're leaving, the Lee Tregurtha is at the upper ore dock loading up. And just for some perspective, Here she is next to the upper ore dock. Here I am next to the lower ore dock. I love that Great Lakes shipping is so deeply rooted in Marquette's history. Okay, as for food, 48 hours in Marquette is not enough time to eat everywhere. But time and time again, we find ourselves eating at some of these quicker options, like Border Grill, one of the many food trucks, or pasty shops. All the food is delicious, it's fast, and it travels well with us as we go on to the next stop. Because I love being outside, but I also love being well fed. Our last adventure in this 48 hours is the North Nequamanon Trail Network, and it's reason enough for mountain bike enthusiasts to drive a pretty great distance just to ride these trails. And for us, we're enthusiastic beginners who love using our bikes to get a workout and push our skills, but also just to explore more. And that's the best part about these trails, the exploring. It feels like there's a scenic payoff at the top of every hill and at the bottom of every basin. The North Trails weave along the Dead River, and we found this rope swing. Well, actually, the first time we found it was in the winter, and we returned in the summer where things were a little more water friendly. I hope this was helpful for a bit of inspiration for your next trip to Marquette. Make sure to like and subscribe, that way you can get more awesome ideas on how to get outside in Michigan. And one last time, I want to say thanks to Ludington Bay Brewing, because without them, videos like this wouldn't be possible, and they help us keep stocked up on our provisions. Until next time, cheers.